Dragon Emperor Sun Chapter 141 to Chapter 150. Damn it, more than 300,000? Brother Bing has a watch, I have to work hard for 10 years. People are more dead than people, and goods are thrown away, we can't compare. Brother Bing has good looks and financial resources. Such a man is simply the best. Meow meow, when are you going to break up with Brother Bing? I'll make a reservation in advance. Even if I become Brother Bing's girlfriend for a day, I'm willing to. A group of people boasted and said jokingly. It made Lang Bing and Zhang Miao burst into laughter, and the feeling of being so envious of others is really great. I remember Brother Bing was with Wang Hanin before, why did they break up? Suddenly a long-haired girl in a dress said. This girl is also Wang Hanin's dormitory, her name is Wang Yushan, so she knows some things about Wang Hanin following Lang Bing. When Wang Yushan asked this question, no one was talking in an instant, and the atmosphere became awkward for a while. After all, Wang Hanin and Zhang Miao are roommates in the same dormitory, and now Zhang Miao is equivalent to robbing Wang Hanin's boyfriend. Seeing this coldly, a sad face suddenly appeared on his face, and he pretended to be reluctant to say, "It's hard to say, this is the last thing I don't want to mention, I have given so much affection to Wang Hanin, but she is not satisfied at all, in addition to spending money, I also like to go to bars, and in the end I went to the bar to become a dancer, I really can't stand it anymore." What Lang Bing said was very emotional, so that all the people looked at him with pity. It seems that Lang Bing still knows Wang Hanin very well, and even he knows Wang Hanin as a dancer. Why is this Wang Hanin like this? I didn't see it in school before, but she can go to a bar and be a dancer. Knowing people and faces but not hearts, looking at Wang Hanin is very pure, so she is such a woman. I'm so pitiful Brother Bing, such a good man, who was so kind to Wang Hanin back then, she didn't even know how to cherish it. I heard that Wang Hanin will also come to the class reunion, I really don't know where she got the courage. Brother Bing, that kind of person is not worth your sorrow for her. Now you and Meow Meow are a good match. Everyone accused Wang Hanin and comforted Lang Bing. There were tears in Lang Bing's eyes, and he nodded slightly. Fortunately, I have met Meow Meow now, so that my wounded heart has a place to rely on. I have to say that Lang Bing's acting skills are top-notch, and he instantly pulled everyone to his side, all accusing Wang Hanin. At this time, Wang Hanin didn't know that she had already become the target of public criticism before she arrived. Hey, I lived with Wang Hanin for 3 years, and I didn't even know she was this kind of person. Wang Yushan curled H3R lips, no wonder she finds a labor prisoner as her boyfriend now. As soon as Wang Yushan's voice fell, everyone was in a frenzy, looking at Wang Yushan in disbelief. Wang Yushan, who did you listen to? Is it unreliable? Zhang Meng hurriedly asked Wang Yushan. I also heard what Wu Yifan said. We talked on the phone last night. She told me that Wang Hanin had found a prisoner who had just come out of prison to be her boyfriend. I was surprised at the time, but now Wang Hanin is even a dancer. A labor prisoner is not bad. Wang Yushan said. After Zhang Miao heard this, she burst into laughter. She was thinking that if Wang Hanin brought her boyfriend, she would definitely humiliate Wang Hanin. And Lang Bing inadvertently raised the corner of his mouth after hearing that Wang Hanin had found a boyfriend of a labor prisoner. At this moment, Wu Yifan and Wang Hanin arrived, pushed open the door and walked in, followed by David. Hello everyone, long time no see. After Wu Yifan entered the door, he greeted everyone. Hello everyone. Wang Hanin also smiled and said hello to everyone, but when she saw Lang Bing, her eyes dodged, and she didn't dare to look directly at Lang Bing. Wang Hanin was afraid that she couldn't help it for a while and became angry with Lang Bing. After all, this Lang Bing hurt her very badly, but this was a class reunion, and Wang Hanin didn't want to screw it up. Seeing Wang Hanin seeing Lang Bing's eyes dodging, this made everyone believe Lang Bing's words even more. Wang Hanin must have done something sorry for Lang Bing, which is why he behaved like this. Wu Yifan said hello to Wang Hanin, and found that everyone looked at Wang Hanin with strange eyes, and both of them were a little confused. Wang Hanin, I didn't expect you to be such a person, and you dare to come to the alumni reunion, I really see you wrong. At this time, Wang Yushan said to Wang Hanin angrily. This time, Wang Hanin was directly confused, she didn't understand what Wang Yushan was talking about. Wang Yushan, where did Hanin provoke you? The old classmates haven't seen you for many years. Why do you say such things when you meet? Wu Yifan stepped forward and questioned Wang Yushan. But when Wang Yushan was about to speak, Lang Bing stood up. Okay, let's not talk about the past, today we are all here to drink and talk about feelings, no one should make it unpleasant. Lang Bing spoke, but Wang Yushan didn't speak. Baffling. Wu Yifan pulled Wang Hanin to find a seat, and David sat down beside Wang Hanin unceremoniously. Seeing David, everyone looked up and down, with playfulness and contempt in their eyes. Hanin, who is this man? This is our class reunion, isn't it bad to bring outsiders? Zhang Miao spoke first and asked Wang Hanin. She asked this on purpose, and she wanted to see how Wang Hanin answered. Wang Hanin looked at David, opened his mouth but didn't know how to introduce David. If David is his boyfriend, the two have no established relationship at all. But if you are talking about your own friends, it's not appropriate to bring your friends on occasions like class reunions. Hello everyone, my name is David Chen, I'm Hanin's boyfriend. David got up generously and introduced himself with a slight smile. Seeing David's explanation, Wang Hanin's face instantly showed joy, he nodded towards Zhang Miao and said, "This is my boyfriend." Zhang Miao glanced at David, and asked with some contempt in his eyes, "What does your boyfriend do?" "We work as a salesperson for a company." Wang Hanin said truthfully. "Being a salesperson? That should be a lot of commission, right? Now I heard that salespersons make a lot of money." Zhang Miao continued to ask. It seemed that he wanted to find out David's details. I don't know either, we just went to work for a few days." Wang Hanin said with an expression on her face, she didn't want to deal with this Zhang Miao. But the more Wang Hanin didn't want to pay attention to Zhang Miao became more and more complacent, and still asked Wang Hanin reluctantly, "Then what did your boyfriend do before he became a salesperson?" Zhang Miao just wanted to force Wang Hanin to tell David's imprisonment, so as to embarrass Wang Hanin. Wang Hanin didn't speak this time, because she didn't know how to answer. After all, David was just released from prison, so she couldn't say it directly, that would definitely be ridiculed by everyone, and David was also very shameless. "Why are you embarrassed to say it? They are all old classmates, there is nothing ashamed. If your boyfriend's work is not going well, we can all help introduce him. But before introducing, you have to get to know him first." Although Zhang Miao said it nicely, she obviously didn't want to introduce David to a good job, she just wanted to make Wang Hanin look ugly. "Zhang Miao, are you checking the huqiao? If you ask questions, let's serve and eat." In order not to embarrass Wang Hanin, Wu Yifan hurriedly said to Zhang Miao. But Zhang Miao didn't give up, and looked at Wang Hanin, who was embarrassed, and said, "Hanin, your boyfriend's previous work is still kept secret? Is there something you can't say, such as being in prison?" In Zhang Miao's words, it was even clear. Hearing Zhang Miao say this, Wang Hanin was surprised. She never told anyone about this matter. Why would Zhang Miao know about it? At this time, Wang Hanin looked at Wu Yifan, because only Wu Yifan knew about David's imprisonment last night. Wu Yifan was also surprised, and finally put his eyes on Wang Yushan, his eyes were full of anger. "Wang Yushan, are you chewing your tongue?" Wu Yifan told Wang Yushan last night, and now Zhang Miao knows it too, that must be what Wang Yushan said. "Wu Yifan, why is this talking nonsense? I'm just speaking from facts." Wang Yushan didn't defend herself, she just admitted it. This made Wu Yifan angry, and at the same time, Wu Yifan was also a little worried. Because of her job as a young lady, Wang Yushan also knew that if she was stabbed at this time, she would be really shameless. Wu Yifan was afraid of angering Wang Yushan, and she also shook out her own affairs, so she stopped talking. Hanin, it's not a hard thing to say that your boyfriend has been in prison, why don't you tell me? We don't discriminate against him, your current status is a good match for your boyfriend, a dancer, a labor prisoner, a match made in heaven. Ha ha ha. After Zhang Miao finished speaking, everyone burst into laughter, and the ridicule in their eyes showed without protection. Wang Hanin's face was flushed with anger. She didn't want to come. She knew that she would be ridiculed by everyone when she participated in this class reunion. Now, in this situation, she didn't have the courage to stay. Wang slowly got up and wanted to leave, but was stopped by David. Hanin, I haven't eaten yet, why are you leaving? Let's talk after dinner. Yeah, I'm just joking with you. As for being angry? Look at how aggressive your boyfriend is. This is a regal hotel. If you don't have this class reunion, I'm afraid you'll never want to eat here for the rest of your life. If you're afraid if you don't have the money to take your share, you can tell me, I'll help you out, 108,000 is nothing to me. Zhang Miao said to Wang Hanin with a sneer. Zhang Miao said this, Wang Hanin can't leave now. If he leaves now, it proves that he is afraid of spending money to leave. No need, we still have this money. David smiled slightly. Well, since you have money, then I don't have to worry about it. I'm really afraid that after dinner, if there is another evasion, it will be a shame. Zhang Miao said, and then looked at Lang Bing and said. Brother Bing, didn't you say that you have booked the banquet in advance, let them go. No problem. Lang Bing smiled slightly, I booked a banquet of 58,008 this time, excluding the drinks were brought by myself from Mao Tai. We counted a dozen of us, and each of us couldn't spend 10,000. 8,000, I'll let them serve now. After speaking coldly, after making a phone call, the private room door was quickly pushed open, and one by one exquisite dishes were brought up. It's just that these people looked at the table full of dishes, and no one had a happy expression. After all, they had just started working not long ago, and many people had no savings at all. After eating 18,000 in this meal, they would feel distressed. Give money. Lang Bing looked at everyone's expressions, and the corners of his mouth raised slightly, although this meal doesn't cost much today, I know that many people are not rich now, you just need to call me Brother Bing and toast me with a glass of wine, I'll pay for you. After Lang Bing finished speaking, he looked at Wang Hanin and David. It was obvious that Lang Bing's proposal was aimed at them both. Brother Bing is mighty, I will respect you first. As soon as the voice fell, someone immediately raised a wine glass and toasted a cold glass. Soon, they all toasted Lang Bing with their faces flattering. In the end, only Wang Hanin, David and Wu Yifan were left. Yifan, won't you give Brother Bing a toast? Wang Yushan asked. $18,000, I still have it. Wu Yifan's meaning is obvious, she would rather pay for the money herself than toast Lang Bing. What kind of big money are you pretending to be? 18,000 yuan, how many times do you have to sleep to earn it? For your own good, I don't appreciate it. Wang Yushan rolled her eyes and said. This sentence, like a thunderbolt from the blue, suddenly exploded, and everyone looked at Wu Yifan. And Wu Yifan's face was ashen, feeling the eyes of everyone, and even got the feeling of getting into a mouse hole. Wang Yushan, what the H3LL are you talking about, believe it or not I'll kill you. Wu Yifan stood up abruptly, holding a wine bottle in his hand. Wu Yifan, keep your mouth clean. Who's talking nonsense? Don't you know what you did yourself? Wang Yushan is not to be outdone. Wu Yifan was trembling with gas from the bottle, and the bottle in his hand was about to be thrown at Wang Yushan. She regretted it now. She took Wang Yushan as her sister, but the other party betrayed her. This is Zhang Miao getting up, grabbing the wine bottle from Wu Yifan's hand, and roaring with a cold face, "What are you two making a fuss about? I'm the one who arranged this class reunion today. Are you two making trouble like this? My face? If this is the case, the two of you will get out of my way." Zhang Miao relied on Lang Bing as his boyfriend, so he regarded himself as the leader. But after such a roar, Wang Yushan didn't dare to speak, and Wu Yifan sat back with tears in his angry eyes. It's just that everyone looked at Wu Yifan with a bit of enthusiasm, especially those male classmates. After all, Wu Yifan is quite good looking. Now they may only spend a few hundred yuan to sleep with Wu Yifan for one night. After this incident, Wu Yifan kept his head down and didn't say a word. "Come on, let's all eat together, you can't eat such a good thing normally." Zhang Miao ignored Wu Yifan and said to the crowd. Everyone started to eat lively, no one cared about Wu Yifan, only Wang Hanin kept comforting Wu Yifan, but Wu Yifan still didn't say a word. Everyone pushed the cups for a change, while David just took care of his own meals. No one paid any attention to him, and he didn't pay any attention to anyone. Looking at David coldly, he raised a glass of wine and said, "Brother David, why do you only eat vegetables and not drink? Do you want to eat your portion back? Don't hold back." Ha 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 ha. As soon as the cold voice fell, everyone burst into laughter. David wiped his mouth with a tissue, and said without the slightest anger, "This wine is too bad, I'm not used to drinking it." David said a word, everyone was stunned. This wine is Mao Tai, a bottle of several thousand yuan. David actually said that he is not used to drinking it. He sneered coldly, "You are not used to drinking this Mao Tai, what do you want to drink? You don't need to spend money on this wine. If you choose another wine, you will also pay for it. It doesn't matter if it's money or not, it's mainly because I drink too much wine and cough." David said lightly. "I'm just kidding, they are so arrogant, I haven't heard of anyone coughing after drinking alcohol. A prisoner of labor reform, what are you pretending to be? I don't think you have ever drunk Mao Tai. I really can't listen anymore, hot ears." When everyone heard David's words, they all roared angrily. That Zhang Miao also smiled disdainfully, and then said to Wang Hanin, "Hanin, look at the boyfriend you've found, it's really a weird one, even if you're poor, you still pretend to be rich." Wang Hanin ignored Zhang Miao, but she also didn't understand what happened to David today. "Brother David, if I'm not mistaken, you came from Chang'an, right? These few bottles of wine can probably buy you a car. What else do you think you are wearing?" asked coldly with a sneer. After Lang Bing said this, everyone discovered that David had a car key of Chang'an car hanging on his waist. "It's just to support domestic production, there is Bentley, I don't like to drive it," David said lightly. Lin Tianhu's Bentley, David drives it whenever he wants, the entire Jiatang is his own, not to mention a car. Puff. Lang Bing just took a sip of water, and when he heard David's words, he sprayed it out. "Ha ha ha, I have lived so much, and I have never seen such a calm bragging. You are also a wizard. You still have Bentley? I don't think you have even seen what Bentley looks like, right?" Lang Bing laughed out loud, and laughed so hard. The others also laughed, leaning back and forth, and some even burst into tears. "Compared to you, I'm even worse. I've never seen a girl who cheated on her for money, and she can still pretend to have a dinner so calmly," David said with a cold smile. When Lang Bing heard David's words, the smile on his face disappeared instantly, replaced by a gloomy face. "What are you talking about? I don't understand." The cold eyes narrowed slightly and looked at David. "What I said, you understand in your heart that you know better than me whether you have cheated money or not." David also stared at the cold eyes without showing weakness. The eyes of the two people collided, and the atmosphere in the entire private room instantly became tense. What nonsense are you talking about? Brother Bing costs hundreds of thousands of dollars for a watch, how could it be possible to deceive people? Zhang Miao shouted at David loudly. In Zhang Miao's mind, Lang Bing is an ideal man with wealth and wealth. How could such a wealthy person deceive other people's money? Yes, Brother Bing's family has a watch. I'm afraid you can't afford it with all your wealth. You don't have to spray blood here. Wang Yushan also said to David. Obviously no one believed David's words, and none of them believed that Lang Bing would deceive people. It's just a fake watch, and it's worth showing off. David smiled coldly. From the moment he entered the door, David found out that the cold watch was fake. Now David only needs to send out his spiritual power to test it out. Fake? Everyone looked at Lang Bing, even Wang Hanin, who had been comforting Wu Yifan, couldn't help but look at the gold watch on Lang Bing's wrist. There was a trace of panic in the cold eyes, and then he burst into anger. You are talking nonsense, my gold watch is imported from Switzerland, have you ever seen a gold watch? You dare to think it is fake? David, forget it if you are jealous of Brother Bing, why do you say his watch is fake? Isn't it just a few $100,000? Brother Bing doesn't have money, so why wear a fake one? With more than 1 million Mercedes-S, you wouldn't say his car is fake, right? Zhang Miao questioned David. Brother Bing's identity, how could he wear a fake watch? When I was in school, I heard that Brother Bing was very rich, how could it be possible to wear a fake watch? Mourning for misfortune, anger for not arguing, if you don't have it, you say that others are fake, what kind of psychology do you have? After listening to Zhang Miao's questioning, everyone blamed David. Wang Yushan also glared at David and said, you don't even look at this gold watch, so you say it's fake. It's obvious that you're jealous, whether you can't bear it when you see that your girlfriend's former boyfriend is stronger than you. I'm just telling the truth. David smiled lightly. Bah! Wang Yushan sighed, you are just jealous, if you have the ability, you can show evidence. David, you and I only met today, what do you mean by targeting me everywhere? Seeing so many people talking for him, believing in himself, Lang Bing suddenly said with a cold face, if you don't tell me about this matter, I'll let you go out sideways, do you believe it? Okay. David sneered, is it a fake watch? You know best, now since you are looking for humiliation yourself, don't blame me. David said, stood up and said, give me your watch, and I will prove it to you. How do you want to prove it? Lang Bing shrank his hand, and instead of giving David a watch, he asked vigilantly, my watch is hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you break it, can you pay for it? Lang Bing will not give the watch to David. After all, Lang Bing knows that the watch is fake, he is just creating the identity of a rich man. It's very simple, as long as you drop it on the ground, you can argue whether it's true or false. David said lightly. As long as the gold watch is broken, you can see it right away. The movement of the gold watch is made of gold, and it is impossible for you to imitate the movement exactly the same. You want to drop my watch? Hearing Lang Bing, he felt guilty. David, this watch costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you dropped it for me, can you afford it? Lang Bing will not let David fall, this watch is fake, and it will be revealed once it is dropped. Yes, can you afford to pay? You dare to drop a watch worth hundreds of thousands on the ground. What kind of identification method is this? If you don't have that ability, don't brag about it. I thought you really knew how to distinguish between true and false. Everyone criticized and ridiculed David. David smiled and said, there is a way to tell the difference without falling. To know that gold is different from other metals, just weigh the watch and compare it with the official website. The fake watch is real, and the weight cannot be faked. After all, the weight of gold is different from other metal materials. As soon as everyone heard it, this is a way, and there is no need to damage the watch. You weigh it when you say it. A trace of panic flashed in Lang Bing's eyes. He wouldn't know how to weigh. After all, he also knew that there was no way to fake this weight. David, you are jealous of Brother Bing, saying that his watch is fake. If it's not fake, what would you do? You can't just say it, Brother Bing will listen to your arrangements. Zhang Miao asked David. If this watch is true, I will pay for the meal myself. David said confidently. This watch is fake, David has full confidence. When everyone heard this, they all looked at Lang Bing. Brother Bing, let him say that. Since he dares to say that, then let him give up, and we can eat a meal for free. Lang Bing was a little panicked at this time, and cold sweat began to appear on his forehead. He never imagined that David was holding onto his watch. This watch needs a precise weighing instrument, but we don't have it now. How to weigh it? Can you know it by weighing it with your hands? Asked coldly. Well, since you are right, there is no weighing instrument now, but do you dare to show me your watch? I only need to take a look. David laughed. What do you want? Did you fall for me? Asked Lang Bing vigilantly. No, I will never damage it. If it is damaged a little, no matter whether your watch is genuine or not, I will pay you the real price. David shook his head. He didn't need to drop a cold watch, he just said that he would know the truth if he dropped it, but he was just teasing the cold. Just show it to you. Lang Bing knew that if he didn't show David, he was afraid that David would be unkind, so he took off his watch and handed it to David, and then said, so many people have watched it. If you fall for me, then pay me the original price. Lang Bing believes that if David is not broken, and if it is not weighed, it is impossible to tell the authenticity of this gold watch. After all, this is a high imitation. A watchmaster can do it. He doesn't believe that David can see it at a glance. David took Lang Bing's gold watch, and after playing with it for a while, he handed it back to Lang Bing. That's it. Lang Bing took his watch and looked at David with a puzzled expression. Just look at it and you'll know if it's true or not. Yes, I just need to take a look. David nodded. Humph, pretending to be a ghost, with a cold snort, he put the watch back on. Just as everyone was waiting for David to show evidence, Zhang Miao suddenly screamed. Brother Bing, you, look at your watch. Lang Bing was stunned for a moment, hurriedly looked at the watch, and the whole person was stunned. Many classmates were all puzzled, and looked at the cold golden watch. At a glance, they were all stunned. I saw the gold watch on Lang Bing's hand. At this time, it has long lost its golden luster and turned into the color of red copper. It is obvious that the pieces on it have faded. Looking at it like this gold watch must be fake. How can real gold fade? Everyone looked at Lang Bing, their eyes were weird, and the atmosphere was very embarrassing. The imitation of this watch is too bad, I lost my gold powder. David picked up a wet towel and wiped it, the corners of his mouth raised slightly. The cold face is gloomy and uncertain, not to mention how ugly it is. On the other hand, Zhang Miao looked at Lang Bing in shock, not knowing what to say. Originally aloof and arrogant and cold, at this time, his face felt hot, and he didn't dare to look at the people around him. Brother Bing, you were not cheated by your friends, how did you buy a fake watch from Switzerland? Someone couldn't help but ask. This time, it was a reminder of Lang Bing. Lang Bing was instantly overjoyed, then raised his head and said, it must be that guy who lied to me. He spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy me a fake watch. If I catch him, I will definitely not spare him. Speaking coldly, the gold watch in his hand slammed to the ground and shattered. However, some people looked at Lang Bing, but there was no trust in their eyes. Obviously, this Lang Bing was pretending to be a fake. These liars are so hateful. Isn't it just a watch worth 300,000? Brother Bing will definitely not fake it. You must know that Brother Bing has driven a car worth more than 1 million, so you can buy a fake watch to pretend to be forced. Zhang Miao stood on the side of Lang Bing at this time, defending Lang Bing. Lang Bing also took the opportunity to put his Mercedes car key on the table to show his identity. Who knows if the car is rented? David sneered at this time. In fact, many people also have this idea. After all, the cold gold watch is fake, so this Mercedes car may also be rented. After all, if you rent it for a day, it will not cost much. Art, how could it be rented? I've seen Brother Bing drive this car for a long time, and it's not just today. Zhang Miao scolded David angrily. Is it rented? Can't you find out if you bring the driving license? David said. As long as you bring the driving license, you will know at a glance whether it has a cold name on it. Zhang Miao looked at Lang Bing, and seemed to want Lang Bing to bring his driving license so that David would shut up. Lang Bing hurriedly said, I have to go to the car to get it, it's too troublesome, don't you just want to see if I really have this ability? I'll order a watch online again now, I'm not used to wearing it without a watch. With that said, Lang Bing directly ordered a watch worth more than 200,000 online in front of everyone. And the payment is successful, just waiting for the delivery. This time, everyone's envious eyes returned again, and they all believed that Lang Bing was really powerful, and the fake watch must have been deceived. Lang Bing also let out a long sigh, and his status as a local tyrant was finally preserved. David looked at Lang Bing and smiled lightly. Online orders can be returned, and after tonight, Lang Bing can completely return without losing a penny. However, David didn't get it through, he still wanted to play along with this Lang Bing. The matter of the gold watch was just an episode, and it did not affect Lang Bing's identity in the eyes of everyone. He looked at David coldly, with provocation in his eyes. He knew that this guy David just wanted to make himself look bad, but now he not only didn't make a fool of himself, but everyone's attitude towards him became more and more respectful. You just said that you are not poor in money, and you are not used to drinking Mao Tai. What kind of wine do you want to drink? This Regal Hotel has all kinds of wine, but it depends on whether you can afford it. Lang Bing was almost thrown by David, and now he wants to return it. How about the brandy? David looked at Lang Bing with a sneer, and his eyes were also provocative. Do you dare to drink it? I'm afraid you bought the watch with all the money, and you won't have the money to pay the bill in a while. Lang Bing was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect David to choose such an expensive wine. To know that a bottle of brandy starts at 200,000. The others also looked at David in surprise, and the expressions on their faces were incredible. Brother David, Wang Hanin gently pulled the corner of David's shirt. She has been in a bar and knows the price of brandy. This bottle is only a few $100,000. Even if they only take one share, that's not a lot. Seeing Wang Hanin's expression, Lang Bing suddenly laughed. He knew that David was pretending to be coercive and deliberately said such expensive wine to scare him. The brandy is good. I've had it a few times. If you want to drink it, let's have a few bottles. Lang Bing gave David the right to choose. He wanted to see if David dared to say that he wanted to drink it. At this time, everyone looked at David with a sneer in their eyes. They thought that David would not dare to ask for it. This time, David shot himself in the foot. Okay. David nodded. Waiter, 5 bottles of brandy. David did not give Lang Bing another chance to refuse, and shouted directly to the service staff. Seeing that David ordered 5 bottles of brandy in one go, everyone was shocked. That Lang Bing was also startled, and instinctively wanted to stop it, but he quickly reacted. He thought that David must still be stimulating him. Even if he asked for 5 bottles of brandy, if he didn't open it, he didn't need to spend any money. Monies. Thinking of this, Lang Bing finally breathed a sigh of relief, secretly glad that he almost fell for David. 5 bottles are too few, come 10 bottles. He looked at David coldly and playfully. Since David can play like this, he will too. Anyway, you don't have to open it in the end, you can just go back when the time comes. Damn it, I've never had one before. Brother Bing actually asked for 10 bottles. Brother Bing is awesome. Look, this is really a local tyrant. What kind of coercion is David pretending to be? A labor reform prisoner, the clothes he wears are not worth 200 yuan, and he says that he drinks brandy? Bah! When you pretend to be a real local tyrant, it may be today's scene. Just wait and see how this David ends. Everyone looked at David with fascination, they wanted to see how David ended. At this time, Wang Hanin was frightened. 10 bottles of brandy would be 2 million. Even if she and David counted one share, it would cost nearly 200,000, and a meal would cost 200,000. If my parents knew about this, they would definitely be killed. Brother David, forget it. Wang Hanin looked nervous and persuaded David in a low voice. Seeing Wang Hanin like that, Lang Bing suddenly laughed and looked at David with a playful look on his face. Boy, it's too late for you to regret it now, as you are now, I'm afraid you won't be able to take out 20,000, right? Drinking brandy, you can't brag like you do. Regret? David raised his mouth slightly, what do you regret? Isn't it just drinking a few bottles of brandy, and it's not that you haven't had one? What is there to regret? If you regret it, you can call the waiter back now. Ha ha ha, what a joke, how could I regret it, 1 or 2 million is nothing in my eyes. He laughed coldly, but he cursed David secretly in his heart, he wanted to see how long David could hold it, and when the wine was brought, David would definitely not be able to hold it any longer. Soon, the waiter brought 10 bottles of brandy to the table. Everyone looked at the brandy in front of them, and their eyes were green. They had never drunk such expensive wine. Sir, do you need to open it? The waiter looked at Lang Bing and asked. Lang Bing was stunned for a moment, then looked at David and said, David, open it. If the wine is opened, there is no room for regret. Lang Bing is forcing David to compromise. He knows that David is pretending to be forced, and he will definitely not let the wine open. Lang Bing didn't want to open it, after all, he didn't have that much money for a meal of more than 1 million. David smiled coldly, and then said to the waiter, please open all the wine. Okay sir, the waiter opened a bottle of brandy with a bang. This time Lang Bing was dumbfounded. He didn't expect David to actually let the waiter open the wine. Bang! Another bottle of wine was opened by the waiter. Every time the sound of the bottle was opened, it was like a sledgehammer hitting his cold heart, which made him feel distressed. Soon, cold sweat broke out on Lang Bing's forehead. David, this is the Regal Hotel, the Sui family's property, don't even think about cheating and escaping the bill in the end, that's impossible. Lang Bing threatened David, and he hoped that David could stop the waiter from opening the wine at this time. I didn't think about escaping the order. Are you worried about the money? If that's the case, you can tell the waiter not to open the wine now. David looked at Lang Bing with a sneer on his face and asked. How can I feel bad for money? I can't earn a month's pocket money for a year. How could Lang Bing stop him at this time? Wouldn't he slap himself in the face? He wanted these 10 bottles of brandy. But seeing that 10 bottles of wine have been opened, blood is dripping from the cold heart. I still feel like drinking this wine. David picked up a bottle of brandy, poured himself a big glass, and then drank it. Seeing David drinking like this, he glanced coldly and disdainfully, and then said to everyone, everyone drink together, don't let someone drink it all, as if you've never seen wine before. When everyone heard it, they all picked up the bottles and poured themselves wine. Even Wang Yushan and Zhang Miao, who didn't drink, poured themselves a big glass. You must know that this is hundreds of thousands of bottles of wine. Drink, I am afraid that I will never have a chance to drink it in my life. Wang Hanin didn't drink, but was still comforting Wu Yifan. The blow this time seemed to be so big to Wu Yifan that she kept lying on the table silently. Lang Bing watched everyone drink wine, and he was secretly relieved. He had already thought about it. When he paid the bill later, he would not take the money by himself. He could pay for the meal by himself, but all the wine was if you drink it, you have to pay for it. Let him pay for more than 1 million by himself, but he won't be the one to take advantage of. But everyone still doesn't know what Lang Bing is thinking, and they are still touting to Lang Bing. If it wasn't for Brother Bing today, I'm afraid I would never be able to drink such a good wine in my life. No, Brother Bing is too awesome, a meal of more than 1 million, without blinking an eye. Some people are just beyond their own power, and they want to compete with Brother Bing, without looking at how much they weigh. And David ignored the ridicule of these people at all, because he knew that it was time for these people to cry. Soon, 10 bottles of brandy were eaten, everyone was full, and a few were already dizzy. I've had the wine and the food, let's go too. David said to Wang Hanin. Wang Hanin nodded, helped Wu Yifan up, and walked out of the private room. Seeing this, Lang Bing hurriedly followed the crowd out. He wanted to see what David paid for, but don't pay the bill in the end. How much did we spend in total? Lang Bing walked to the front desk and asked. Sir, you have spent a total of 2.1 million. The cashier at the front desk said quickly. Nodding coldly, then he took out his mobile phone and calculated, and said to David, David, there are 14 of us, and each of us consumes 150,000. The 3 of you, you only need to pay 450,000 now. Can 450,000, not much, David smiled lightly. David, at this time, you are still pretending to be forceful. It's not much 450,000, but you take it out. What are you waiting for? Zhang Miao sneered. I don't think it's worth 450,000 to buy him. He really treats himself as a big money. Wang Yushan also mocked David. Everyone else was also waiting to see David's joke. They wanted to see how David came up with the 450,000. They must know that an ordinary wage earner might not be able to save 450,000 in 10 years. At this time, Wang Hanin looked at David anxiously. She had no money, where did she get the 450,000? And Wu Yifan, who had been bowing his head and said nothing, slowly raised his head and said, I still have 200,000 in my hand, I can take it out. After all, Wu Yifan himself had a share of the meal, so David could not be allowed to spend money, and she had to call Wang Hanin to come, but it turned out like this. What's more, she knew that David had no money, and it didn't take long for her to get out of prison, and her family was not a wealthy family, so the 450,000 might be an astronomical figure for David. Wu Yifan, what are you pretending to be a rich woman? Do you know how many times you will sell the 200,000? You should have pity on yourself first. When Zhang Miao saw that Wu Yifan was going to pay, he immediately said mockingly. You, when Wu Yifan heard this, his face flushed with anger. Soon, Wu Yifan's eyes suddenly darkened, and he fainted out of anger. Yifan, Yifan, seeing this, Wang Hanin hurriedly supported Wu Yifan and shouted. David stepped forward and tapped Wu Yifan's wrist lightly, knowing that Wu Yifan was just in a hurry, and he would be fine in a while, so he said to Wang Hanin, Hanin, take her home first, I will handle it here. Brother David, this money. Don't worry about it, I have a way, let's send her back quickly. David said firmly. Wang Hanin looked at David, and then at Wu Yifan, who had fainted, and finally had to send Wu Yifan away. David, you let them go ahead of time. Are you planning to break the jar and break the bill directly? Lang Bing asked David. Delinquent. David smiled lightly, I don't have any debts at all, where did the delinquents come from?